Hello and welcome to the garden. Today it is sunny out for once and it is like, I don't know, 40 degrees outside. It's not super windy. It's a nice day. I could get used to this, you know? You just get so tired of it being cold and cloudy and gross. So I came out today and I have my measuring tape because yesterday my husband came in the living room where I was and he said, Uncle Gary has a greenhouse that's made of these cattle panels. And last summer we went out to his Uncle Gary's house. And I actually put some footage of it in a video. I'll see if I can find some of that and put it in. But he has a greenhouse made of cattle panels, and I don't know how long it is. I think it's probably like 10 panels long, so it's like 40 feet long, if I had to guess. And he has it's a permanent structure. Like, he doesn't take it down or anything. He leaves it up all year, and he starts all of his plants in it for his huge, massive garden that he does every year. And he starts plants for other people in there too, not just for himself. And so I said, yeah, Uncle Gary does have a big, cattle panel greenhouse. And Robbie said, well, we could do that here, right? Like on a smaller scale. And I was like, yeah. So he said, well, couldn't you turn one of your arches into a greenhouse? And I said, yeah, but here's the thing. I'm going to be planting some peas out here in this arch in early spring. Probably, I don't know, depending on the weather, it may be the beginning of April. The tomatoes and peppers that will stay that'll need more time, those won't go out until at least the beginning of May, probably second week of May, hopefully before, but and this arch down here where the tomatoes were last year is going to be coming down, and it's going to be turned into the little tomato room we're gonna have in this whole half. So I was like, yeah, that's a possibility, but I don't know. I really don't want to use this tomato arch as a greenhouse, then have to come out, take the plastic off, pull the panels down, and redo these panels all in the same weekend. I don't want to have to do all that because planting all this stuff takes a lot of time anyway and work. And I really don't want to have to ungreenhouse these panels so I can turn them into supports for my tomatoes. There's a rabbit over here that keeps watching me. He's watching me. He hasn't left yet though. He's kind of brown. That's weird. Usually rabbits around here are gray. Anyway, that's an aside. So he said, well, couldn't you put it somewhere else in the yard? And I'm like, yeah. And so he's like, you could get one more panel and make a greenhouse out of that, couldn't you? And I'm like, yeah. So these panels are 16 feet long. For some reason I thought they were 18 feet, but they're only 16 feet. They're only 16 feet. And they're 4 feet deep or tall, I guess, if you use them horizontally. And I came out with the tape measure because I don't remember how far apart these are. I don't remember. I don't remember how far apart I put them. So I'm going to measure this really quick. Okay, so these panels are 5 feet apart. The T-posts are 5 feet apart. And the middle of the panel up in here is 7 feet tall. Well, I'm only 5 foot 5 inches tall, so I have to be up on these stepping stones I have out here, and I have to almost be on my tippy toes to reach the top. So if I make a greenhouse out of one of these, just one panel, it will be 4 feet deep, and I would probably do it 6 feet, like T-post 6 feet across. So I'd have an extra foot like this way. And I don't know how far that would take it down, like maybe a foot. Even if it took it a foot down, that would work, because I'm not 6 feet tall, so I'd be the only one going in it. So let me show you kind of where I'm thinking I'm going to put this thing, because as you can see, this half of the garden is still in the shade. It's like 1:15, so it's like, you know, prime sunlight time. The half where the arches are is in the sun, but because it's still winter, the sun has not shifted over enough for the whole garden to get sunlight yet. It will eventually. Once spring actually comes, it will get there. But I am thinking, since we have not a ton of yard, I really don't want to tear up any of this or kill the grass by putting a greenhouse on it. You know, I really don't want to drive posts into the ground over here. I could. I mean, there's no reason I couldn't put it like up against the fence over here. It would be a temporary thing. It would be something that I put up in mid to late March, and I take down once everything is in the garden in hopefully by the end of May. Last year, stuff was not in the garden in June still. It's when I finally planted all my tomatoes. But I'm thinking about putting it over here next to the garage, because as you can see, there's plenty of sunlight over here. This area gets sun most of the afternoon, like literally most of the afternoon, because the sun goes down that direction. So this would get the afternoon sun, and it would come out 4 feet from the edge of the garage, and I would probably tuck it under and put it right up against the garage. That way it can have a little bit of protection from the rain from the overhang here. I would just have to park my car like over there, but there's plenty of parking. We have plenty of parking over here. All that. I could put it at the edge of this parking area over here, but I would rather have it closer to the house as possible, without having to, like, you know, put it up here next to the house. I did some research this morning. I looked up pricing for stuff. These cattle panels, I can get them at Rural King for $20 each. So that's where these came from. So I spent $80 on these for last year, and they are still in perfect condition. The T-posts, I have a few in the garage, but I will need more for the tomato room anyway, and so 2 of those, they're like $3.29 a piece at Menards for the 6-foot posts. And I found plastic on Amazon for $35 for 8 foot by 100 foot. I don't need that much. Actually, I don't know if it's 100 foot or maybe it's 50 foot. I don't remember. But it's like $35. I watched another video on YouTube this morning about making a cattle panel greenhouse, and this is the plastic that he used. I was thinking about just using drop cloths, like plastic drop cloths, but I know those aren't necessarily made to be outside for months at a time. So I'll probably use this Amazon plastic, which is UV like resistant, like it won't get gross in the sunlight and all that. And then I actually found these zippers that you can put on plastic, and it makes like a tarp zipper. That's what they're called. Found one of those on Amazon for like $8. Like, that's the perfect way to get in and out without having to worry about making a door, or finding a door or putting a door in. That's always been my biggest hang up, is a door system, how to get in and out, because I really don't want to have a door sitting in my garage, you know, like a storm door or whatever. My husband said, well, you can get those zippers that you put in plastic. And I'm like, sure can, can't you? Didn't even think about that. And then I found some shelving at Menards for like $30. It's just plastic shelving that'll let me put trays in, like lengthwise, so I can fit 3 trays across on each shelf for $30. And I think it has 4 shelves, so I can fit 12 trays of stuff on it, which is more than I have. So all in all, I totaled it up. It'll be around $100. I think like $102 for all of that. Now I do have some Menards rebate money still from when I bought, I don't know, something. At this point in the year, I pretty much always have a Menards rebate that I'm using. So that'll be a few bucks off. So yeah, I don't know. That's a possibility of something that could happen. If it does happen, I am wondering if maybe I should start some more stuff to sell, like plant starts, maybe herbs, more herbs to sell. I'm actually not really thinking I'm going to sell any herbs. I'm just going to focus on tomatoes and peppers, but maybe I will start some herbs to sell. I don't know. That's kind of what's been going through my mind the last couple days. I kind of was like, yeah, I don't know, yesterday, kind of just brushed it off. And then this morning I got up and I was like, no, yeah, I really could do that. Like that could really honestly work and it would make everything so much easier. The bad thing about starting your seeds indoors and not being able to put them out until it's time to plant is it's a drain. It's a drain on your electricity bill. If you're using LED light bulbs, your bill shouldn't go up that much. For me, I have to leave the power on in my basement all night and all day to have power down there. So I'm running more bulbs than I would want. I have to run heat mats to get the seeds germinated, which I will still have to do. I'll still germinate everything in the house. It is not warm enough here and sunny enough here in the winter for me to germinate things outside without electricity, which I won't have out there. But if I can get my seeds started in the basement, get them established. Once it warms up, maybe like the beginning of April, I will move everything out to the greenhouse and let it finish out there. And then I can actually harden stuff off by just opening the zipper, the door, and pulling that shelf out. So that would make things easier for me. I could have more space to start more seeds if I wanted to. I'm not confined by our basement, which is there's not enough space to start hundreds of different seeds, which is something I would like to do. I would like to sell more seeds and seed starts. I don't know that this year I will, but for next year, it's definitely a possibility. And if I have a greenhouse and I get all the kinks worked out this year, there's no reason I couldn't start an extra 50 tomato plants and sell them and make, $100 at $2 a plant. So that's kind of what I'm mulling over in my head today. I don't know. Maybe at some point in the next month or so, we'll be building a greenhouse. That would be fun, wouldn't it? So otherwise, thanks for watching this idea video. Maybe it'll inspire you. Maybe you do have room for a greenhouse and you just don't know it. Like I was like, nah, we don't have the room. But I think we kind of do. I don't know. So anyway, thank you for watching and I will see you in the next one.